The following video is a tutorial from my latest course, The Essential Material Guide, and it's one of my favorite techniques to improve realism in Blender. The full course is 3.5 hours long with additional updates coming in the future. If you have a beginner to intermediate knowledge of Blender's shader editor and you want to learn how to make materials like a pro, then I highly recommend you check it out. You can get a 35% discount on the course right now with the promo code SAVE35, but for an even better deal, you can get 2 courses for less than the price of one if you buy the Essential Blender Bundle and use the code BUNDLE40. You'll find the links in the description. Adding dustier materials in Blender can really help not only with the realism, but also with the storytelling. Once we see a nice layer of dust on something, we instantly know that it's been sitting there for a long time, abandoned, and it's actually really quite simple to do. So I'm going to start off here by adding a texture coordinate node. Now you can search for that, or if you just press Shift A to bring up the add, you go to input, you can get texture coordinate, and you can see we have all of these different outputs. Each one of these basically controls how materials are mapped onto the surface in Blender. So by default we use generated, and if we click on this you can see it gives us all these weird colors, and all of these colors basically represent coordinates in Blender, right? So this purple color, you can see it's facing over this direction towards the right of the screen, and on the opposite direction we have a completely different color. So the one that we want is actually normal, and that gives us the direction of the object. Now you do want to make sure that you press Control and A and apply the rotation on this, because if I just rotate this, apply the rotation, you can see that it does make a difference. But you can see that we have these colors, this blue and the purple, and they're only pointing up. We don't have those colors pointing in other directions. The same as on the back, we have the yellow and the green, and they're only pointing to the back of the object. So there's different colors that are pointing in different directions. We can use that to make sure that our dust only goes on the top of the object. So I'm going to add another node in here, and I'm going to look for separate X, Y, Z. And what that can do is that can take information like this, where we have multiple different colors going in different directions, and it can separate them out. So if we separate only the X colors, you can see that that splits our mesh left to right. And if we look at the next one, you can see that it splits it back to front, and the Z splits it top to bottom. So only the faces that are pointing upwards are going to be sort of this grayish white color, and all the faces that are pointing down are going to be black, and you get a gradient in between the two. Now this gives us quite a hard difference between what's pointing up and what's pointing down. I want to smooth it off a little bit, so I'm going to add a gradient texture, and this allows us to control the fall off. So at the moment it's using a linear fall off, meaning that the difference between the highest value, the whitest color, and the darkest value will just have a perfect gradient in between, right? Whereas we can change this to something like quadratic, which you can see it starts off almost the same color white all the time, and then you get a kind of smoother fall off in between, transitioning to black. And there's easing as well, where you have a much smaller band between the two of them, and you can try these and see which ones you like depending on the scenario, but I'm going to use quadratic, I think. And I'm going to use this as our basic mask. Now, I mentioned in the first part of this course that sheen is really useful for doing things like this, for doing things like dust. So I'm going to look for a kind of a dusty color. I'm going to bring the roughness up quite high. Then I'm just going to use this mask into the weight. And straight away this gives us this. And already this is kind of looking like a bit of a dusty object. Just like you would expect with real dust, it's really covering the top, and we have basically nothing in the sides. And what I like about this sheen node is if we're looking at this kind of from the side, the dust is a little bit less visible, and then when we're looking at it straight on, pretty much all you can see is the dust, which is exactly how real dust behaves. And if you bring the roughness down, it will reduce that behavior. Right, so you can control exactly how much dust you want here. I want this to be pretty rough. Maybe something like this. So we're obviously going to have to use this mask in multiple different areas. For instance, at the moment, it's still treating this part like it's a kind of metallic surface, and that's not really what we want. So I'm going to get a mix color. I'm going to plug this in, take a look at the output, and one of these needs to be white and one needs to be black. So we want the tops to be the black color, because that is where the least metallic part is going to be. And as we've already established, black is 0. So the top parts being black means they are 0 metallic. And that looks like it's just about right. So for the roughness, I also want to do the same thing. So I'm going to just grab this, plug this into here, and plug this into the roughness. And that's the opposite of what we want. So let's just flip these around. Right, so dust is really not very shiny. That gives us something like this. And if we wanted to make changes to the entire effect here, what we could also do is just add a color ramp, right? And we could connect up all of these to the ramp. Now our color ramp is going to precisely control where this dust goes and how thick it's going to be laid on. And by changing these colors, we could make it overall just a little bit more dusty. If we don't want the dust to be as thick on the top, we can bring this down. So something like this. What I'm actually going to do, though, is I'm going to add another mix node, mix color, and I'm going to actually bring it through the mix node. So let's just bring this over to here. Make sure these are all connected to the mix node. Into the factor of the mix node, I'm going to add a noise texture, because at the moment we have this kind of like perfect gradient, and that's not what you usually get with dust. So if we just add some noise to this, you can say that it's going to add a little overall layer of dust to everything. We can actually just get rid of this color ramp. We don't need this now. So we've added a layer of dust to everything. And instead of having like just a perfectly smooth transition, now we're going to have it really dusty on the top, and we're still going to have some dust on the sides. Right, and you can use a color ramp for this too. Do exactly the same thing. You can control here exactly how much dust you want to have on the sides of the object compared to on the top. And that's how you do dust in a nutshell. Now, one thing that's worth mentioning here is that instead of using a noise texture for this stage, you could actually use a dust texture. If you look on the internet, there's quite a few resources where you can download sort of dust patterns. And another thing that's worth mentioning is, whereas we're doing all these things right now inside one shader, what you could always do, if we get rid of these, instead of using the sheen, you could actually make a shader, right, which would act as your dust, something like this. And you could add a mix shader. And then instead of having your metallic and everything all individually controlled, you would just use this as the mix factor, and that would control the difference. So now you've got the top is just going to be completely this diffuse, and the bottom is going to be this. And then of course, once again, you would just alter the mask to get it to suit exactly how you want this to look. Right, so if you wanted like a really dusty looking object, that's probably the way that I would do it instead. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. You can get access to hours of content just like this by picking up my Essential Material Guide course. Use the code SAVE35 to get 35% off, or you can get 2 courses for the price of one with the code BUNDLE40 on any of my course bundles.